We are back. We're up here on the stage at the Heartland Cafe where the sun is shining through the windows.
Dang, I was just getting into the
And the people are
dance.
gathering, and people are drinking this delicious coffee, eating the food, getting ready for the holiday season. Ho, ho, ho,
I don't
baby.
really know what to say to that, Michael. Happy solstice,
Well, I've
everybody.
tried to give you some opportunities for
I know.
your quick wit.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
We've got on stage with us now a close friend and ally, Mr. Fred Klonsky, who is an activist, something of a putter on a Facebook, a poster, I guess.
I'm a blogger.
You're a blogger. You're a straight-ahead blogger?
I'm a blogger.
And what qualifies? How many words do you have to blog, and how many people have to follow you to be calling yourself a blogger?
There's no rules. It's all
self-fulfilling.
Yes, it's whatever you want it to be.
Well, Fred has actually not only been a lifelong activist, and we have been on different sides of many issues, but have come to be great friends.
Really?
And, well, back in the day, we were different sects, I think.
Oh, back in the
old days.
We were different sex.
See, you just
CTS.
give him an opening, Michael. Give him an opening, and he's going to walk through that
Well,
door.
Fred is now a retired teacher. He was the past president of the Park Ridge Education Association, and when we announced last week that we had our friend and our state representative Kelly Cassidy coming on, Fred got to me right away, asked me to ask her about the state pension question, and definitely has some differences and concerns with a couple of state reps that we know, and some of them we know in a long time.
That's right.
And they too have had moved around on the political side on things. But this state pension question is a big one, and the state legislature has seemed bent on taking away the pensions that are legally the right of the people who did the work
and paid into it.
And so Fred, after he caught my ear, he said, "Have me on," and I said, "You are coming on." And here you are.
And here I am.
So what's this pension story, Fred?
Well, here's the story. The story is that in Illinois, there's five major state pension funds. People who work for the state government pay into in lieu of Social Security. For example, I was an elementary school teacher for 30 years. During that time, I didn't pay into Social Security. I paid into the teacher retirement system. 9.5% of my salary went into that system, with the promise that when I retired, that money would be there for me.
Yeah. I think that
if I worked in the private sector, I would collect Social Security, but as a teacher, I don't. And in fact, not only don't I collect Social Security, but if my beautiful wife were to predecease me, which is highly unlikely, I couldn't even collect those death benefits. So the state was required, instead of paying into Social Security, to pay into our teacher retirement system fund, but they never did.
Let's say never.
Never.
When did they stop? I know they did.
They
at some
haven't
point.
paid the full amount for over 50 years. Over different periods of time, they paid in less or more. But the state pension systems are 40% funded. They're the worst funded pension systems in the United States.
Gee, could that have anything to do with, let's see, who's been in state politics for almost 40 years?
Well, actually, both Republicans and Democrats can take the blame on this one. Neither one of them have paid into the fund. And so now,
Mike Madigan
now that the system is 40% underfunded, the political leadership, both the Republicans and the Democrats, have decided that the solution is to cut the benefits and to increase the contributions that we pay. It's kind of what's weird about it, Mike, is that it's kind of an Alice in Wonderland kind of situation. If you look what's going on in Washington, for example, where it's the Republicans who are opposed to raising taxes on the millionaires and are for cutting benefits and the safety net for those in need.
So-called entitlements.
Whatever you want to call it. The progressive Democrats in Washington are fighting to defend the social safety net and for raising the taxes on
The wealthy.
On the wealthy. Here in Illinois, it's just the opposite. It's the Democrats. It's the Democrats who are leading the assault on cutting the pension systems, and for leaving the tax system alone. In Illinois, you may not know this, but we are only one of seven states in the country that have a flat tax system in which for example, a housekeeper at the Hyatt Hotel pays the same tax rate as Penny Pritzker, who owns the Hyatt Hotel. And so, if you want to raise revenue, if you want to pay the bills that the state owes, the answer isn't to go after the people who don't have any money, because you can't get money from people who don't have any money. You have to go out and get money from those who can most afford to pay it. But the progressive Democrats, when I was at a luncheon, for example, of the Illinois Retirement Association a couple of months ago before the election, and I was sitting next to Elaine Neckritz, who is a Democrat representing a state rep representing the north suburbs. And I said, and I raised these very questions with her. Why are you sponsoring a bill? Why is Kelly Cassidy sponsoring a bill that goes after teacher pensions instead of changing the tax system in the state so that everybody that we're not going after the people who can least afford to pay to fund the state's bills? And they said, we don't have the votes. Well, it's an odd thing, because here we are in Illinois, in which in the recent election, the Democrats won veto-proof majorities in both houses of the General Assembly.
Thanks to an extremely gerrymandered district.
And sit in the governor's mansion, and we don't have enough votes to change the way in which we raise revenue. It turns everything on its head. It makes Illinois a kind of a Alice in Wonderland. When I was a kid, I used to read this comic book called Bizarro World, if you remember, where everything was up was down and night was day. And here
that
in Illinois,
explains a lot.
It's kind of a bizarro world where Republicans are Democrats and Democrats have become Republicans.
Well, of course, this is Chicago, where the Democrats have always been Republicans, thanks to the old Cook County Democratic machine. What I'm seriously wondering, though, why do people not know this? I mean, I remember it was 2 years ago that we first started talking on this stage about the problem with the pensions, and it was informing people when we said teachers don't pay Social Security. That's why they've got this pension deal. And why is it that folks are not rallying? I know the teachers are all pretty bound up about it, but
unions.
And teachers and unions. But what do you think the reaction of folks, or lack of reaction, is about?
Well, I think part of the reason is that it's actually been kept pretty much a secret. See, one of the things that the pension system has done is it's provided by by the state not paying their share. They've been able to pay the state's bills using money that should go into the pension system. So in a way, the broader population has been protected from having to pay for infrastructure, for schools, for roads, for the other functions of state government.
We're not doing too good on that stuff
and
either.
Now we're not doing too good on that stuff. So here's the question: when you talk to Representative Cassidy last week,
Yeah.
And Representative, for example, Robin Gable or Elaine Neckritz, and what they're doing is they're saying the pension bill or the pension cost, if we pay that's going to take money out of services for independent children or these other things. The fact is they're not paying those things now and haven't for years. So it's kind of disingenuous for Cassidy to be pitting my pension system against the needs of the other needy in the state. The answer really is in in changing the way in which we fund government services, raising taxes on the poor, setting up a progressive income tax, ending the flat tax where everybody is taxed at the same rate.
I think you meant raising income tax on the rich.
Did I say raising it on the poor?
Yes, you did.
Well,
That's okay. We know what side you're on.
Too much coffee
I
this
asked
morning.
you to lay out for me what our state representatives and state senators should be doing, and you ran down. You said the pension obligation is constitutionally, contractually guaranteed.
That's right.
Each legislature takes an oath to uphold the Constitution. The pension debt needs to be amortized over a long period of time. A flat payment, not a ramp, just like a home loan is amortized. End sentence.
Right.
Raise revenue with a graduated progressive income tax. A guaranteed state yearly payment to the pension system. No more pension holidays. Elimination of TIFs. Illinois has the lowest effective corporate tax rate in the Midwest, according to Crain's magazine. End corporate loopholes and tax giveaways. Do not shift the pension obligation to the local school districts.
I'm done. Can I go down and get breakfast?
Really?
Just, you got about
That was
5
Michael
minutes.
reading Fred.
Expound upon all that.
Well, here's the thing. If you talk to Ralph
I wanted the facts out there.
Ralph Matari,
People go to YouTube, they get to see it over and over and over. They got all of the things that they should be doing when they're representing us in the legislature.
Ralph Matari is the head of the Center for Tax Accountability and Budgets, and what he says is that if the state of Illinois were to set up a graduated progressive income tax, like every other state in the United States has, except for 7, and the way the federal government runs, that you could pay the state's bills and give those who earn under $150,000 a year, tax them. They would get a break in their taxes. The bill owed to the pension systems now is around. It depends on who you talk to. Around $100 billion.
Like caramba.
But it can be paid. It can be paid if you do what you did, or maybe what I did in the last couple of years, is you refinance your home. You take what you owe on it. You pay less money on your financing. You spread it out over a longer period of time. If the state were to take the debt that they owe the pension systems and refinance it, restructure it, and that tied to a graduated income tax, the bill could be paid. The bill has to be paid. It isn't going to be paid by cutting cost of living increases to the members of the pension fund. It's not going to be paid by asking 80-year-old ladies to choose between health care and cost of living increases. It's going to be paid by restructuring it and by creating a tax system that's fair.
But creating a tax system that's fair, that's like moving heaven and earth in a statewide basis. You've got to have major discussion back into the districts, blah blah blah. And
right. So when the next
Springfield
time
moves slowly
when
as
the
it
next
is.
time Representative Cassidy comes on your show, or Representative Gable, or Nekritz, or Dan Biss, or any of these others who call themselves progressive Democrats, you have to keep asking them the question: why are progressive Democrats in Illinois protecting the Penny Pritzkers of the world, while asking those who have taught children for 35 years to give up their cost of living increases? I mean,
We're asking them right now on the air. I'm sure they're all listening. We want to know.
Yeah, we do want to know. Hey,
and you have to ask them quickly, because they're going to be passing on a bill, maybe in the first week of January, certainly in the coming General Assembly session. They're coming after our pension, so you got to ask them quick, because they're going to move on this quickly.
how many
Okay.
thousands of people does this affect?
There are roughly 700,000 members of the state pension systems in Illinois.
Wow.
And if you count members of their family and their friends, and they're spread out throughout the entire state in every legislative district in the state of Illinois.
Fred, we don't have a lot of time, but you can come back on the show almost any time you want. And would you put out there for people how they could find out more, who's active in this struggle, and how they could contact those people and how people can become involved.
Well, I'll give you two quickly. One is to go to fredklonsky.com. That's my blog site. The other is to go to the We Are One Coalition's website. We Are One. You
Is
can
that
Google
spelled
it.
correctly?
And well, you can Google We Are One. That's the coalition of all of the unions that represent state employees in the state. You can go to IANEA.org, which is the Illinois Education Association's website. You can go to IFT.org. That's the Illinois Federation of Teachers website. All of these have information about the pension systems. Mario, what's the AFSCME website? Do you know?
AFSCME.
Say it again.
AFSCME 31.org. That represents the other state employees. All of these are resources to get information about it.
Fred Klonsky, we love you.
Love you
And
back.
we thank you for coming on.
And giving us the
let's have
full story.
A big round of applause for Fred Klonsky. And Mick Dumpke, come on up right away. No break here.
Really?
Make announcements.
Okay.
Thanks.
It's